Hey, everybody, and welcome back to a new season of The Mainstream. I'm your host, Jonathan Moody, and we've been on hiatus for a while, I think past like 2020. I have not done this show for like 6 years. Uh,
2020.
that was when things began to like go in a different direction. So I
That
think
was like, hold on, wait.
6 years ago
No, wait. I want to check your math. Dude, that's like 30 years ago.
is what it feels like. But no, it was 6 years ago, and so I was doing stuff on video, as John had pointed out, but I hadn't done anything on audio for the mainstream and forever. So we're back, the brand new season, and I am super excited. I want to see what the last one did was. But let me introduce our guest for the evening. It is my buddy John Ward. How you doing, John?
I'm good. How are you?
Wait, so that can't be that it's taken that long because weren't you on the show before, or is that maybe you
I've been, I've,
weren't?
I've been on shows where they've only been audio. I don't know
Right.
if it's this show. I get them confused. You have many of them, so I'm not sure.
Oh, it says okay, so 2024, I guess was the last ones.
Okay,
I
wait,
thought it
wait.
was
Okay, hold
2020.
on. Let me check the math. Dude, that's like
Um,
20 years ago.
yeah. So 2024, we did the Karate Kid. That's right. We brought that back with the Karate Kid for a little bit. I forgot about that. So yes,
Oh,
so we
okay.
have been doing audio for a little bit. But this has been since then. So what is it? Our last one was September 2024. So now it is April 2026, and we're doing a brand new season, which is fine. It's I'm glad we're getting it done. But I decided to do the Mission Impossible series, and the main reason I brought John on is because he's the biggest Mission
Oh,
Impossible nut I know.
which is why I thank you so much for inviting me to do this. I just spent the last 7 days, 24/7, no sleep to prepare for this because I watched every episode of Mission Impossible, the original series. The
A lot.
original series. Look at that.
That is
The
a lot.
original series. So I am totally ready to talk about this TV show and what it means to me. This thing went on forever. This thing took a long time for me to watch. So I am very excited and happy to be watching
Well, I hate to
the TV
disappoint you,
series.
John, but that's not what the mainstream is about. We're not doing TV shows. I think we might have done
Wait,
the Cobra Kai TV shows, but I don't
wait,
think
wait,
it,
wait. Oh, okay. So if we're not doing that, then we must be doing, because you're joking with me, we must be doing the revival show from 1988 and 89, also starring Peter Graves.
nope,
It only lasted for 2 seasons,
nope,
but and he comes back as Phelps.
nope,
No?
nope, not either series.
Dude.
We are
Okay.
doing the movies. Do you have any movies?
Oh, you mean this one?
Yes, the first one is what we're doing today, talking about today.
Hey,
That's
look,
why I have that. Why else would I have Tom Cruise as my background?
well, who doesn't? I mean, come on. I mean, he's my wallpaper. If you
He
if
probably is.
Yeah, he's hanging off the
Do you
plane from the last Mission
do you
Impossible
make out with
movie.
him every day?
He's my pillow.
You got a Tom Cruise pillow.
I do.
Is it a body pillow? Do you have
No,
his whole body?
it's kind of Frankenstein together. So the top pillow is his head, then it goes to his chest pillow, and then the other region pillow, and then down to his knees, and then down to his feet. So it's kind of this multiple pillow thing
Please don't
that I
tell me
can
it's
kind of
anatomically
rearrange.
correct.
And he is. So I'm 5'8". I think he's like 5'4" or something like that. So it is a little shorter
Is
than
he
me, but
really 5'4"? Is he five
he
like?
is. Yeah, he's short. Yeah,
So
yeah.
he's
He
only an
might
inch
be.
taller than me then.
He might be like 5'6", something like that. He is shorter than me. I
I would
know
like to
that.
meet him just to like compare heights. I know a lot of people, a lot of celebrities, especially I found this out through William Goldman, who did the Princess Bride and stuff. He wrote a book. He wrote like little things. And one of the things he was fascinated with was celebrities' heights, and how they lie about it, so much. Like they say they're taller than they are, and everything. And so what he liked to do was go to the pool when a celebrity was there and see how tall they are when they get out of the pool because you can't put lifts in your feet yet, you know. So
Yeah.
you are whatever height you get out of the pool and stuff. And I thought, oh wow, that's an interesting thing.
So I just looked it up. He's 5'7".
I thought I saw that, but that's not necessarily true. A lot of people lie about how tall they are
So you're
on.
saying he might be shorter.
He might be shorter. I'm not saying he is, and I don't know his actual height, but the height that is listed, I believe, was 5'7". That's what I was thinking in my head. So like I think that's the height that's listed. But there was an actress, I'm not gonna say her name because I don't want to out her, but there's an actress I ran into at a horror convention, and I said, "Wow, I thought because she was like my height, right?" I was like, "I thought you were taller than me," and she goes, "Why do you think that?" I was like, "Your IMDb," and she goes, "Sweetie, everybody lies about their height on IMDb."
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I did too, because I say I'm 5'5", I'm 5'3", you know. I will tell
I
people my
don't lie
height.
about me. I'm 5'8" and it says 5'8". So
No, you do
that's
tower over me in the picture that we have, or whatever. So I knew almost everybody's taller than me, like male
well,
wise.
you
And
think people are always taller. Like Tom Cruise used to use an apple box to stand on. He also put lifts in his shoes,
mm,
but that was back in the day. That I think was when he was more insecure. And now he does somebody could be taller than him and he just kind of looks up, because I'm going to be intimidating. So so I don't think he does that type of stuff anymore because he did a lot of stuff to make him look like he does today. Like he got the unibrow removed.
mm,
He got braces, like the invisible braces. I believe there was something with his hair and like his hairline, and then there was dyeing his hair black because it was starting to gray. But I can't really see any of that, so it doesn't bother me because it doesn't look like he's done it. I mean, you could tell if you look at his earlier films, he has one long eyebrow, and then all of a sudden it's gone. And
yeah.
then his teeth, I don't think I ever noticed if they were messed up or not, but it was publicly known that he did work on his teeth. So,
Um, with all that money he got for his film slash his his church, helping out his church. I'm sure he uh
oh
you know I
yeah.
we're not gonna get into that because we don't need to. Not the whole time here.
Well, it is separating the actor,
Well,
from
and
whatever it is. He's a Scientologist. I'll say this because I won't get much into it. So I put on Facebook, oh, I like Tom Cruise. I like the movie that he's in. Somebody wrote to me, I don't like Tom Cruise because he's a Scientologist. I said, okay, then do you not like Denzel Washington because he's a Christian? Do you not like other actors because they're Muslim? Do you not like other actors because they're Jewish? It's like, what does it matter if he's a Scientologist or not? If it doesn't affect you,
hmm
then what's the big deal? He's
I
still a good actor.
my mom didn't like him because he jumped on the couch on Oprah.
Okay,
That
we'll
was
get into that when we talk about Mission Impossible 3, because there is a very big thing with that
okay.
and that whole
But I'm just
time
saying that
period.
was
Yeah.
that was it. That was the thing that like made her not
Oh,
enjoy his movies.
completely understandable. And that's a weird time period because this is the first film. The first Mission Impossible is the first film, and I don't know how much research you did, but it's the first film where he had complete control because he made Cruise Wagner Productions, which is Tom Cruise, Paula Wagner, and he wanted to have control over his movies. So they created that to where he could pick the director, he could pick the writers, he could pick the actors. It was the very first time he's done that. And it was around Mission Impossible 3 that kind of came crashing down.
Mm,
But he made a whole bunch of movies with her. And this was the very first one. If you see behind the scenes, he's very much into making this film happen. He's very, because he's a huge fan of the original series. So that's why he wanted to do it is
Hmm.
when because he had a deal with Paramount, got together with Paula Wagner. She's like, "Well, what do you want to do?" Paramount, of course, is Mission Impossible. They own the rights. He's like, "I'm a huge fan." And but his character, Ethan Hunt, is a completely new character.
Yeah.
So he's not in anything. So that big box set, which was the original series with Peter Graves, and then Peter Graves came back for that show in the 80s, same character, and then he was supposed to be in the movie until he read the script and
Who was he
said
gonna
that
play?
he was going to play Phelps. He was going to play the same character. So so John Voight plays Jim Phelps, and
Oh, okay.
that's who Peter Graves played because Graves in the original show took over for one of the actors, and then he became the guy.
So he didn't want to play the villain.
Yeah, he said that it goes against what Jim Phelps would do. Jim Phelps would never go against the country. He would never go against the government. And so he refused to do it. He refused to do a cameo, anything. And so that's why they got John Voight. And
I'm glad they
Ethan,
did. I love John Voight. I've always loved him.
he's a crazy guy, but I like him in this. I think it's before he went kind of nutty. But he's good in it. I think that
I
he's
know.
a
Once
good
again, I try to.
replacement.
I don't.
Once again, separating.
Well, no, I mean it's not even that. I don't even a lot of times I don't go into unless somebody goes and tells me, "Oh, you know what so and so did?" I barely ever pay attention to that stuff. I just like watching the movies and the characters that they play.
I'm so trying to do that. I'm trying to not watch as much YouTube and find out about people and the things they say and that just ruin things for me. So it's
Well,
but this is the thing with Peter Graves is it's part of the history of
hmm
Mission Impossible, and a lot of fans of the original show hated it, hated the movie
hmm
because
I can see
there's some
why.
yeah dedicated fans, and and they too agree that Jim Phelps would never do this.
Well,
So
I
it's
mean,
I'm sorry, go on.
maybe, but in the same sense, it's I don't know. I liked I liked this movie a lot. I had seen it back when it first came out on VHS,
Oh, you mean like this?
like that,
Thank you
like
very
that,
much.
and yeah, it looked just like
Thank
that.
you.
I remember that. I remember because we when I worked at the video store, that's that was in the back thing, and then you would that would be by the cover would be by itself, and then it would be behind the cover. There's the movie,
Oh
so
yeah,
you
yeah, yeah, like Blockbuster would do.
yeah,
Yeah.
so
You see
you had
how
another version of it, but
beautiful this VHS tape looks. Look
eh.
at that.
Did
It's
you buy
like
that on like eBay or
yeah, it's used. So it was just from a private collection.
nice?
So yeah, I got that. This is how I originally watched it. Is I bought the first four movies in this pack.
Wait, what? No way. So you didn't watch it till it was already on Blu-ray?
No, no, I saw it when it came out in the theater,
Yeah.
but I didn't start collecting them
Oh.
until later. And I thought, well, let me get this one. Let me get all four. And then so it came out with all four of these. And of course, it's one of those things where it's like disc one, but there is no disc two because it's not like the collector's thing. Yeah, like this Mission Impossible 3 is disc one, but there is no disc two because it's just the movies. There's no special features, separately. So, and this was a really,
Oh, because you could probably get the disc two on another
which I
collect
have.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I separately went out and bought all of them later once this became my favorite action franchise. And then they came out with this for its anniversary, which was the 25th anniversary. And I picked that up and I did watch. So this is what I watched. And there's like some behind the scenes stuff. And but what's cool about this is it has a sticker, which I'm never going to use, but it's the IFM logo,
Nice.
Impossible Mission Force. So I guess like you could put it on your car or
IMF.
something.
Nice.
Yeah. So this will always stay right inside here. It will
Yeah,
never,
you're very
never
much
leave
just,
it.
you don't like to separate any of those things. If there's a
No,
poster,
no.
you want the poster to stay in there. If it's a
Uh-huh.
sticker, yeah, I'm very much like, if you look over here or over here, I've got like the wild things, and I've got the poster, and I've got the poster for oh, the Last Starfighter. So, and I got True Romance, and other ones
But are those are
from the Arrow, ones.
they're the actual. Ooh, do you put pins in them or
Yep.
holes? Oh my God.
Yep. I'm
Oh
not
my
like
God.
you, man. This is collecting for me. I'm not collecting to for the chance of one day selling them all.
Oh
You
no,
know.
this is for me. Everything is framed. Everything is framed. You can see
Yeah.
here, everything is framed. I don't put anything on the wall that is not framed.
Nice.
So
All
yeah.
right. So moving
So
on. So did you say you have more? Did you have more stuff, or is that it?
nope, nope,
Like, okay.
nope. That's it. Well,
Um,
how did you watch it? Did you
I
stream
watched it
it
on
or do you own
Paramount
it?
Plus. Yep.
Okay.
Which I'm very happy. So, you know this about me. I went to Paramount Studios,
Mhm.
did the tour. That was actually so my dad and I went to um California to LA to he had been there like once before and done a couple things, but like this was a big longer trip and he had more planned, you know. But on Monday we didn't have anything planned and we had to check out of the place we were at like by 11, and we had to check into the new place by like 4, 3 or 4 or something, right? So we had like a lot of time to kill, and so we were at a was it a coffee shop, and my dad was just scrolling down to see what we could do, and we were already doing Warner Brothers the next day, like that was already planned, you know. And he was like, "How would you like to do Paramount?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm not gonna say no to that,
Right.
like, right?" And I was like, "Sure, that'll be great." And so he's like, "Yeah, all right, we got about 30 minutes to get there." Like, or whatever, right? 'Cause we were the next open slot.
Just
So we got out there, and I will
right.
show you something real quick. Hold on. Sorry, I should have brought it with me. I didn't think about it. One second. Sorry, there's probably like a lot of dead air there. I might have to cut that out. Uh,
No, no, you're fine. It's okay.
first off, this,
Nice.
and it's actually got my name on it.
Oh, sweet.
So I thought that
That's
was really
cool.
cool. And then it actually is whatever, vernacular or whatever,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
where it does like,
Oh, I see. It goes into the mountain,
yeah, it does the mountain and also does
the front
the
gate.
front gate, which we saw. We actually went through the front gate because we thought we were supposed to. Um, and then also I got this from Warner Brothers, which does not have my name. It's bigger and it's kind of boringer. It's like, and I was like,
Well,
oh.
but now you've been to the two homes of Tom Cruise because he also made a bunch of movies with Warner Brothers.
Well, and they might be
And
collabing
now
together,
and now
like
they're
coming
yeah.
together. That
Yeah.
was
So
not planned.
did you see any Mission Impossible stuff while you were at Paramount? Did they have anything on display? A car,
So I
a
went through
book,
my
anything?
pictures, right? And the other day, like yesterday, to see if I might have seen something, and then I would send it to you, was the plan. And I looked over, and I was like, no, I don't fucking. There was nothing Mission Impossible-y, and there was no. I did see that I sent you before, like there was a Michael Bay Way or something, like street, that they named Michael Bay, and I sent it to you.
I
It
don't
was one of
think
the
so.
pictures I sent you, and you're like, my hero, you know?
Oh, is it? I'm gonna
Yeah.
actually have to go there next time I'm in LA and take a picture below it. So
Yeah, well, yeah, I don't think they let you
I
out. They might not let you out, but maybe you can ask. I didn't ask, but
oh,
maybe
it's
you
on the
can
lot.
say, yeah, so it's on the lot. So they're driving, you ride in the nice little golf carts, and as you're riding in it, um, which I will say, their golf cart on Paramount's is not as nearly as good as the one in Warner Brothers. One in Warner Brothers is bigger, but we also did the what is it, the Pro? one. So like more stuff, more whatever. So maybe we got the bigger, one, and I don't know what the normal tour is, like the lesser charged tour would might have a smaller thing. But I always noticed all the carts looked bigger. And what they would do is they give you little earpieces so you can hear what the guy is saying on Warner Brothers. They do not do that for so my dad, who's hard of hearing, was like, what is he? What's he saying? What's he saying? I had to interpret for him most of the time. Um,
Oh.
but that happened like throughout the whole trip anyway. Um, I had to be my dad's interpreter because he just can't understand what people are saying. Um, but so so that happened, and then but they did go by the Michael Bay Way or whatever, and I was like, oh, very cool. Like, and so I took a picture of it while we were riding past it,
I
and
remember you sending it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I sent that to you, and then you're like, oh, my hero, and then I sent you a Nicolas Cage thing or something, my other hero. I don't think I sent you a Tom Cruise thing, because I don't think I saw. I did send you something. You got very confused because I sent you like there was some. It was something from like leftover from the original Top Gun, I believe, where with Tom Cruise and what's her name, Kim McGillis or whatever,
Oh, Kelly McGillis?
Kelly McGillis. They're outside.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's her patio in front of
It's
her
her patio.
house.
And so I
Yeah.
sent you just like it was like supposed to be leftover stuff from that. But they actually used they couldn't get the patio again for reshoots. So they just shot it outside that this one little area that was on the lot. So I sent that to you and you're like, "What? What is this? What? I don't understand what you're sending me." And I guess I couldn't really fully explain it through text. So it seems like you got that now, but it was like her patio and it was all white, the white background thing, and you're just like, "What is this?" Oh, you know. But
Yeah.
anyway,
No, but that's all cool. I mean, my dream project would be, starring Tom Cruise, directed by Michael Bay, written by, James Cameron, maybe like special appearance by Nicolas Cage, that type of thing.
produced by John Ward because he put
Oh
it
my
all
God.
together.
I'd be a PA on that. Oh.
No, well, you do anything to be on
I'd,
any of
I'd
his
do,
set.
I'd do it for free. And of course, it has to, Mila Jovovich would have to be like the actress in it. And then, also, yeah. Well, that's too much. That's too much. So it just have to be Michael Bay, Tom Cruise, and James Cameron.
With
So
Nicolas Cage as his like buddy.
yeah, that would be nice. But that
Because
might be
they
asking too
they haven't
much.
worked together since Outsiders.
Oh, yeah. Well, and you know who else he worked with in this that was in Outsiders?
Who?
Emilio Estevez.
Emilio Estevez, that's right.
Yeah,
So,
so they were friends at the time, and he is in Tom Cruise is in Young Guns.
hmm
He plays the Jesse James and his gang are hidden or in this house, and the militia comes for him, and they're shooting the house, and the camera goes to a guy with a hat and a mustache, and he gets shot and dies, and that's Tom Cruise. They say like
nice.
if you blink, you miss it, but he just went to the set to visit Emilio Estevez, and
Emilio
they're
just
like,
threw him in the movie.
yeah, he's like, hey, you want to be a cowboy? And he's like, sure.
Why
So
not?
yeah, so he's in it.
Um,
So of course, me being a geek, I had to find it, and I did. So
nice.
yeah,
I did love that Emilio Estevez is in it. It was an interesting movie because I don't know how much they do this in like everyone that they form a team and then pretty much all the team dies except for Ethan. Just
I
except for one, but like almost everybody dies in it, or
yeah,
whatever.
I won't say too much about the other ones. There are fun things that you can look for. Like I do watch a channel on YouTube called Mr. Sunday Movies. They're from
I
Australia.
think you've sent me some of
Yeah,
his movies
and
or reviews.
yeah, I love them. And they reviewed all the Mission Impossible movies up to Fallout, and because Dead Reckoning hadn't come out yet. And what they did in every episode at the very end was critique Tom Cruise's hair. So that was a very big deal to them was we're not going to look at this, we're not going to look at that. No, we're going to look at his hair. So like they talk about in this film, you know, the first movie, he has more of the military cut because, you know, he's fresh. He's still new to the whole thing.
Hmm.
So he's not laid back yet. And his hair is totally different in the second movie.
Well, I felt like he was a little laid back. I liked my favorite one of my favorite scenes in the movie is the scene where they're all just hanging out, discussing what the move's gonna be, what they're gonna do next and
Oh, at the
everything
beginning.
at the beginning of the movie. And you got Emilio and him just, chatting away with it. You know what I mean? Like it felt like, okay, this is what a team would look like if they were all like cool with each other, right? And they felt relaxed to say or do whatever. They didn't feel like they couldn't argue with John Voight if they didn't want, if they didn't find John Voight's, you know, whatever he was gonna say to be to be right, they would have told him that. They would have said no. So I like that. I very much like their, you know, everything about like what they did. I was very happy with the beginning of it.
Well, that's because it's, you know, it's written by David Koepp and also it's Robert Town and or
Robert Town.
Townsend, I'm sorry. And
No, it's Town.
Robert Town?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Robert
yeah,
Town.
yeah, yeah. Town with an E. And Cruise became friends with him because he was such a huge fan of Chinatown.
Yeah.
And so Cruise went and helped produce a couple of his movies. That's the nice thing about Cruise. If you become friends with him, he helps you. You know, he's not one of these guys. So on one of the Mission Impossible movies, I think it's Dead Reckoning, one of the girls wanted to learn how to skydive. And he's like, I'll pay for it. And he
Mm.
paid for her skydiving lesson. So now she has a license, you know, to skydive. And that's just what he did is that he picked people that he really wanted to work with. And then you know, if you guys became friends and everything, he would continue to help you. So that, you know, Narc, which would be, you know, with part three that we'd talk about, that movie Narc, he helped. And then, so like Brian De Palma, he loves Brian De Palma, so he
Who
wanted to
doesn't?
bring him in. And this Mission Impossible is a very different movie than all the other ones. This is more that crime, espionage, thriller type of thing, while all the other ones aren't.
They're more
Uh,
action packed
yeah.
and stuff. This did feel like this felt like Brian De Palma wanting to do a 1990s Alfred Hitchcock spy thriller.
And he is a huge fan and
Yeah.
protege of
Well,
Hitchcock
he's
because
not a protege. If you know the true deal, Hitchcock did not like him. They did not get along. So the real truth is like that. De Palma did go and try to speak with or whatever, try to befriend Hitchcock, and Hitchcock basically thought he was stealing from him because
oh
there were things that he was such a fan, he would do movies. He did a movie that was very much a uh what is it was a ripoff of Psycho, and stuff. So he'd done things, and
that
Blowout.
would be
um
probably
well,
Dress to Kill. Yeah,
yeah, Dress to Kill was or something like that. So there
yeah.
was things that like he did, and then Blowout was very much Hitchcockian, even though it was a remake of Blow Up, or whatever. But he did it is he felt it felt like that. There's a few others that have been very Hitchcockian because he really viewed Hitchcock as like one of his biggest influences, but then he kind of took a lot from Hitchcock himself. And Hitchcock was not a fan of that and did not want anything to do
Oh,
with him, kind of thing. And so they were not he was not a protege. He was just a fan and influenced by him. I don't Now I could be wrong. If somebody says, "Oh, you're wrong. I Googled whatever," then fine. But that's what I learned
well,
before.
I've just heard that he was a protege, but you could be correct on that because if you look at like Peter Bogdanovich, who worked a lot with Orson Welles, you know, and you would see them together at dinner, you know, and he would be recording audio and video. He'd be doing the VHS and he'd be doing film with Orson Welles. But you never saw anything with De Palma and Hitchcock.
Right.
So it's like, so I could see that though, but what is the phrase? Something flattery, like rip off is the greatest flattery, or
Imitation
imitation.
is the
Yeah,
greatest form of
greatest
flattery.
form of flattery. Yeah.
It's the I mean, eh, I we know a director that just imitates everybody else and doesn't do his own original material and
Yeah.
stuff, and I don't find that flattering at all. I find that
I
very
think it matters if it's a ripoff or not. Like I never considered De Palma to be. He loves the split screen. He loves the before it was actually really built in the diopter into the camera, so both the person in the back and in the front are in focus instead
mm,
of having to pull the camera or rack focus. Um, so I think him be
oh,
and then of course also being influenced and being friends with like Spielberg, Lucas, Coppola, I think helped. And they of course probably all took from him too. So it's because I wouldn't say, I mean, De Palma directed like Scarface. I don't think that rips off Hitchcock
okay.
at all.
Let's let's look at this. Obsession, one of his first movies, starring John Lithgow and Cliff Robertson. A wealthy New Orleans businessman becomes obsessed with a young woman who resembles his late wife. Do you know what movie from Hitchcock that is very similar to?
Is that Marnie?
No.
Which film is it?
Vertigo. A
Oh,
former
oh, oh.
San Francisco police detective juggles wrestling with his personal demons and becoming obsessed with a hauntingly beautiful woman he has been hired to trail who may be deeply disturbed. Well, it says that, but it's basically he thinks she's the spitting image of a girl that accidentally died. Spoiler alert, I guess. I don't know if you're going to see Vertigo anytime soon or not.
I've seen it a couple times, but it was decades ago, so
Yeah,
I
it
don't
turns
I don't
out that
remember
it's
much
the
of it.
same woman. It's so he thinks she's been dead, but she's really alive, and he's now taking this woman, trying to make her look exactly like the woman even though she looks exactly, you know what I mean? She is the woman that he is. It's just weird and such a weird movie, but like Obsession. So he's he's not. I don't think he rips people off. I think he's a fan and he's inspired
It's
by
an
maybe
homage, as they
homage.
say.
Maybe that movie might be a ripoff. I've not seen it, so I don't know because that sounds very eerily similar.
Well, I think it depends on also how you say it. Maybe if okay, Tarantino, for example, when people said, "Well, Reservoir Dogs is just kind of a ripoff on like another Asian movie." What do you? I'm blanking on the title of it, but
Yeah,
it's with
I
Chow
know.
Yun-fat, and he's like, "Oh, I've never seen that movie before," and it's like, dude, you've literally seen every movie ever made, and you've never happened to see the
But
one
then
movie
later,
that was
didn't he
filmed.
admit that he did see it?
It was
Like,
a lot later. Yeah.
yeah,
And Film Thread even did a shot by shot comparison. But I mean, I love Reservoir Dogs and I love the other one too. But it's like I think if maybe De Palma came a little more forward and was just like, "Oh, I love Hitchcock." So, yeah, of course
I mean
my
it's
stuff will kind of look like his. Because I watched Guy Ritchie. I watched one of his newest films last night, and I'm going to destroy the title. It's like The Ministry of Unmanly Gentlemen, which is
yeah.
great. And the beginning of it was the greatest hits of war movies. Then it became the greatest hits of other directors. Then it had its own thing and it became its own movie. But Guy Ritchie has said Tarantino is a huge influence on him. And so I think when okay, I could see that. I then it seems better.
If you think about it, yeah, Tarantino restarted the thing when, I mean, I guess Goodfellas had just done well, so I mean, it was still there, but he did it a different way, right? And then, Guy Ritchie did Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, like '98, I want to say. I think it was '98. And
Somewhere,
about
yeah.
that time, he had made Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. It was very much a British version of a Tarantino movie. And it wasn't like a ripoff or anything. It was definitely Guy Ritchie's style, you know,
Hmm.
and everything. But you could, if you looked at it, you could probably say, oh, it does feel kind of like a Tarantino thing. I bet they're best friends. Honestly, because a lot of people, a lot of directors, famous directors in this in this, thing, they like each other because, and that's especially what I liked about the 90s is there was a very big, and I think we've talked about this before on something, but there's been very, very big camaraderie about up and coming filmmakers becoming friends. So you had Tarantino, Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez,
Yeah.
and a whole bunch of other people, the indie people that some of them did well and some of them have not really done big stuff, or whatever. And that's fine. They've kept their indie roots and that's great. But they've all kind of become friends and hang out. And then Tarantino became friends with Eli Roth and that group of people. You know what I mean? And so it's wonderful when when you see that because nowadays I feel like there's a big divide, and it might be because there's just too many. There's too many of these new up and coming filmmakers who come up like the Robert Eggers or you know Lars, what's the guy's name, the guy that did The Lobster. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know his name, but I know the movie. You're
Uh
just you're never going to have that great picture back in the 70s at the restaurant where it is Coppola, where it's,
Spielberg.
Spielberg, Lucas, Scorsese, where they're all sitting together because they're all friends
Hmm.
and and they helped each other on their movies. Sort of like, like the Kevin Smith and Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, how Tarantino and Rodriguez became friends and stuff.
And
So
they became friends
I
with
don't
Smith. I remember a video of Tarantino pimping out Clerks 3 with those guys, saying Clerks, not the Clerks 3, I think it was Clerks 2. But he was like saying he loved Clerks 2. Oh my God, what you showed me that, blah blah blah. There's this video of him explaining like why he really, oh my God, it's an epic journey that ends, blah blah, blah, right? And I was like, that's fucking nice, people supporting each other. And especially in the indie scene, you barely see that these days.
it doesn't happen. So even though it was larger back in the 70s with those guys and a little smaller with, Tarantino and stuff,
Hmm.
now it's like nothing. You're
But
just
it
not.
is big, like it's big. It's a big wide net, and that in the indie scene because anybody can come up and pick up a video camera or their phone, shoot a movie with their phone, and then that's it. You make a movie, short film, feature film, whatever. You're going out there and you're making movies.
Well, but you also have back in the day, all those guys were in LA or
Hmm.
somewhere in California. Now you have this filmmaker, maybe these guys support each other, but one guy lives here, another guy lives over there, this guy lives here. So you're really never going to get that great
No.
photo of them all together. And and then of course, they go separate ways, and we find out that a lot of these guys work for Roger Corman, and
That's true.
they went through the Corman camp.
Corman
So
Camp. I wish there was a camp called the Corman Camp.
that's what they called it. It
But
was
I
it
don't know. I
was
wish there was
it
like a
was
summer camp people could go to, like filmmakers
they
could go
should.
to.
I would love that. Oh,
Yeah.
look, Tom Cruise, Top Gun
Let's
Maverick.
let's talk. Oh, nice. Yeah, Top Gun Maverick. Let's talk. Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, imagine
So
if the whoever's left with Corman, because unfortunately Corman's no longer with us, but the Corman family and all that stuff created a Corman camp in his name that was a summer camp for new upcoming directors to go and make movies or whatever, like to experiment with and to have access to all these things. Imagine how great that would be. You could make a lot of movies from that. Get all these different filmmakers, get all these different editors, get all these different people, whatever they want to come. They pay a certain amount of money to come in, because of course you're going to have to. You're not going to do this for
just
free.
surrounded by Corman stuff,
Yeah, and then you go out and you
posters
and
and
you shoot a
props.
movie. Hell, you could do that with anybody. You don't have to call it the Corman Camp, but
Yeah,
somebody could do that right now if they wanted to create something like that. They just need some money.
you don't even have to have like a competition. It could just be that everybody works together to make this
Everybody
one
makes
film.
different, like, there's maybe 5 to 10 directors allowed. There's 5 to 10 editors allowed. There's 5 to 10 cinematographers allowed. And then they all kind of group with people, I'm going to go with this guy. I'm going to go with that guy. Go they are, right?
Oh, so you want it separated.
Yeah. So they all come out with five different feature films, and everything. And they can all be different genres if they want. It doesn't matter as long as they go out and make a movie that they want to make, you know. I think that would be cool, you
It'd be
know.
interesting. It'd
That
be
would be
interesting.
interesting. And then you can
Because,
distribute it, you know. And
well, I think maybe it's not exactly it, but it's cl like if with Cruise, with Tom Cruise, he does work with a lot of the same people.
right.
And he will, the director who did Top Gun Maverick also did Oblivion, and then you have the same guys, the same producers, the same writers, the same actors, and they all kind of, especially Christopher McQuarrie, that now kind of are in this Tom Cruise camp. And it's funny because there are videos out there of, like I said, with Mr. Sunday Movies, every episode is about his hair. There's another guy who did a video, and this was because of part three, with Mission Impossible, is why it is important that Tom Cruise runs. So it's an entire video dedicated to Tom Cruise running. And it's like a documentary on how he learned to run the way that he does. So there's all of these things that are out there about him and things that he's done that I think are pretty funny. Because
Um, so yeah, so Christopher McQuarrie did Way of the Gun,
right.
right? Did he I always thought maybe I always get him mixed up with Matthew Vaughn for whatever reason. I don't know why. Because Matthew Vaughn produced the old Guy Ritchie stuff, if I'm correct. And then he went on to direct his own stuff. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure about
I'm
that.
gonna look that up
I
because I
mean,
want to make
Christopher
sure.
McQuarrie, he won the Academy Award for Usual Suspects, which allowed him to do whatever he wanted. He did Way of the Gun, which bombed beyond belief, and then he got blacklisted for a long time. And then Cruise saw Way of the Gun, liked it, and then it started inviting him to be like a ghost writer on like Mission Impossible 3 and stuff. And then all of a sudden they became friends, they became partners. Then Christopher Corey's name started showing up in the credits. And then he just developed this friendship into what it is today. So Cruise kind of saved his career,
Good.
so that's what I like about the guy. And I've now seen the first Mission Impossible movie, I think maybe 5 or 6 times, because I know I saw it in the theater, and then I've watched it multiple times
I
on
don't
different media that I have.
remember if I watched it in the theater or not. I think I watched part two in the theater, but I don't think I don't remember. It was 96, and 96 I was 14 years old. So I could have, because it was a PG-13 movie, so I could have gone to the theater with my friends and watched it. But it's weird. I remember certain movies I did watch at that age, which is like, I know I watched Batman Forever, and I know I watched that because I was supposed to go on a date with a girl, but uh, she, it was all a joke, that she accepted to go on a date with me, like her
Oh,
friends
that sucks.
better, and I was really bummed. And then this guy that worked at the pool, like a lifeguard at the pool, overheard that I wanted to go, but I wasn't gonna go by like, just, whatever. And he was like, let's go. Me and my couple of friends and him went to the movie and watched the movie, and said, screw that girl. So, you know, um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. She's a jerk. So
yeah. Well, you know
you're a
what?
nice guy, and she missed out on a good movie. So she missed out
I
on
don't
two
know if she
things.
missed out on a good movie or not, but
So,
it was a fun one at least. I love Jim Carrey, so you know me.
oh, I thought it was Mission Impossible. What film? What Jim
No, it was
Carrey?
Batman Forever.
Oh, that's right. You just said that. That's right.
Yeah,
That's
it's
right.
Batman
That's right.
Forever, but I don't know if I saw Mission
Eh,
Impossible in the theater or not. But
yeah.
anyway,
Well,
um,
that was when I saw it. Was when I didn't like Tom Cruise.
oh, you thought
I
he was like too.
He's well. This is another thing. Is somebody else brought out this video, and I went, "Damn, you're right." It's the evolution of Ethan Hunt, which is kind of the evolution of Tom Cruise. So when you watch the first film, that is cocky Tom Cruise. That is the I can't do anything wrong Tom Cruise. That's the kind of joke, the laughing at you, and if you notice in this, he is constantly hitting his fist on the ground, or he's hitting it against the wall, and he's yelling at people because that's what he did for a long time. Is his character would always be hitting a table, or he'd be, "You don't understand the truth," and he would always be yelling,
I wonder
and he
what movie that
mellowed.
was from.
I have no idea, and it's they would even though that was Jack Nicholson, but you get the point. But it's
Well, yeah, but no, but he did. He was like, I want the truth. Like, it's so funny. Ben Stiller did a really good Tom Cruise for a long time. Like, he would do Tom
oh,
Cruise.
in front of Cruise, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
he
no,
made
yeah,
yeah.
he did that thing. We'll talk about it on Mission Impossible too, because there's one of the great MTV spots that have ever come out. But in part, in was it A Few Good Men? They did A Few Good something or other. It was a parody of A Few Good Men, right? And it was like uh him saying like I want the truth, right? And then the next shot is I want the truth, and he's wearing sunglasses randomly, and then I want the truth, and he's not wearing something. It's parody, and he did a wonderful job. Like I love Ben Stiller as man. Old school Ben Stiller was some of the best stuff I've ever seen as a kid,
I would agree.
you know.
Well, they Cruise and Ben Stiller were in Tropic Thunder,
Hmm.
and
Yeah.
that's only because Ben Stiller knew Tom Cruise. Like he wasn't even sure if he would do it, and
I
then
mean, it's always
and
nice to ask.
well, yeah, and Cruise is like, I'll do it under these circumstances, which is I want my fingers to be fat. So like his hands had to be fat. Like everything that is in that character, Les Grossman, is a thing that Tom Cruise had to have for that character. Like he
Right.
wanted to be bald. Um, and he goes, yeah, I want to dance. So that's pure Tom Cruise. And
Mhm.
and then of
When you
course
can't
he,
say no to Tom Cruise when you get him like that, you know.
well, and he seems to have a good sense of humor because he is, he's Austin Powers in Goldenrod. He's in the movie, Austin Powers, the movie,
Oh,
you know,
Goldmember?
Goldmember. Yeah. And he, he's in the movie that they're watching in the theater, and he does the, yeah, baby. And so I guess if you can get him to do it, he has a good sense of humor about it. One of the things that I like, I only have one Funko Pop that is based on something he's done, and that's the Mummy. And I don't know why, maybe it's a universal thing, but that is it. He does not sell his likeness. There's nothing out there of toys or
Yeah. Like
figures.
no Ethan Hunt
There's
Funko Pops.
yeah, there's nothing for Jack Reacher. There's nothing for anything that he's
Wow.
done, and he just won't do it. There's no I've heard that now they're doing one, but there's no like side movies for the Mission Impossible films.
So no
Everything
spin-offs.
is, yeah, it's very contained. And if you look at his filmography, it's not like, oh, he had a little bit part in this, or he acted in this, or he did this. It's very organized. It's very, it's just there's reasons for taking each film. And so I like that. I like that his stuff is very precise. It's very, it's very easy to collect.
Yeah.
And
There you go.
it's so
Uh,
it's that's why this is my favorite action series. Fast and Furious is my second.
I know. So I want to say this real quick though, that so I remember hearing this, and this was I think on the commentary for South Park or something, or maybe it was an interview I heard or whatever. But Trey Parker and Matt Stone had been reached out by Tom Cruise's agent once South Park became famous, right? And there was and they Tom Cruise's agent said, I would like, Tom Cruise to play a part, or he would like to play a part. He likes your show, and he would love to like do a cameo, like, and everything for your show. normal people like you would just drool and go crazy. But Trey and Matt don't want the the guest characters or guest stars to outshadow the the rest of the production. So they said well, they said sure, he can play dog number three in the film, you know, and his only lines are like rough, kind of thing, right?
Well, that's what George Clooney did.
Right. So they said that to Tom Cruise, and Tom Cruise's agent came back saying, no, he will not play this role. We have no interest in or he does not want to play dog number three. He wants a real role. And they said, well, sorry, he's not going to get a real role if he doesn't play, you know, whatever, dog number three. So they were pissed and livid, like, oh, how dare you, whatever. Then George Clooney asked, and they said the same thing, and George Clooney said, sure, play
Yeah,
gay
because
the gay dog or whatever it
yeah,
was.
Clooney got that show made.
Yeah,
That's yeah. So he was
yeah.
a
So
huge
then
fan
all
of
of a
that
sudden,
short that they did.
yeah, so all of a sudden, there you go, and everything. So,
But with that being said, though, there is the Tom Cruise coming out of the closet episode of South
which
Park,
I think was almost a retaliation
and
for
he
how,
hates that.
yeah, well, of course he hates that. And he has good reason to hate it. They're making fun of him, like in a mean kind of way. The
That
only
was
thing,
around part three, I think Mission Impossible 3 time, which is an interesting period in his life.
so what I always noticed in this movie too, and it happens a lot, they always make even Ben Stiller makes fun of it, is the fact that he's always fucking smiling all the time. And I noticed it in Mission Impossible. He had a big old grin when he's like hanging out with, like talking to everybody, like in that little room. He's all
Because he's
smiling.
cocky. He's
Yeah, I
cocky.
know. It's so annoying. It's
Why, if you watch his films in this time period, he is very cocky. He is very sure of himself. He is very he's a different guy.
surprised
And
he's not smiling in that picture I have of him right there, where he's on the ground and when which is the most iconic scene in the movie. Like there
yeah,
were So I rewatched this with my dad because my dad hadn't seen it in forever, and I asked, and my dad's been to Prague, you know, and so he knew, like, he was like, oh, I've stayed over in that area, and stuff like that. Oh, that's like right by where my hotel was. I was like, oh, that's really cool, and he didn't know, he forgot Prague was, because he had seen it, but he hadn't seen it probably since it first came out, you know because he was watching it going, hey, I remember this movie. I remember these scenes, right? It's like, yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. It's a famous movie, But I really did enjoy, like, I enjoyed the scenes that, like, I definitely remembered, like that, the, going down into the vault, and everything, which I totally forgot. They broke into the CIA headquarters, basically. And I believe that's in Langley, Virginia, if I'm
yeah.
correct. So,
Well, as Mr. Sunday Movies points out in their review, like, why don't you just have a guard? Why is there just a guard there? Like 24/7, just have a guard. And it's like, well, then the scene wouldn't be able to happen.
no,
But and also one because it's two guys, so one of them also points out, like, God, if I was that guy, every time I enter that room, I'd be looking at the ceiling, I'd be looking at the floor, I'd be looking everywhere because
yeah,
why
why
is
don't
this
anybody ever
ceiling
look up,
so
you know?
high?
And how do you not look up when you're walking in? You should be able to see up there, you know, and everything, but yeah,
He's
whatever.
just so into well, I mean, there are even though there's two really good writers on this. I mean, there are flaws. Like at the beginning when Jim Phelps, when she's like, "Do you want to watch a movie, Mr. Phelps?" and they do the whole, if you accept this mission, which is great, is when the tape explodes when it catches on fire. He lights a cigarette, and as the tape set, smokes, he blows smoke into the smoke to make it look like it's his cigarette smoke.
Hmm.
So people don't know that it's from the recorder. But even on when they're going, you'll be here with your usual people, Ethan Hunt who does this, and Emilio Estevez who does this, and it's like, wouldn't he already know that? That's
Mm.
for the audience only. That is for us to know who each one of these people are. Because if the guy is saying, who's Kittredge, is saying, you'll be with your usual team, then he knows, oh, my wife does this person does this person does that. It's not like they're going to change it up all the time. So there are certain things that
Well, I
are
mean,
just for the audience.
there's one point where like he goes, uh, what's his name was on Jack, which was Emilio Estevez. He was on like the duty for the thing, and he was like, oh, so I don't get to go into tux and
Yeah,
be
yeah,
there
he's
or whatever.
on the elevator.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's at the elevator, which he ends up getting killed in the elevator. That was sad. I was hoping that he would make it to the next movie, or whatever.
Well, hey, who knows if they ever bring back Stu for Scream? Maybe they can bring back Emilio for the next
Fuck no,
Mission
don't.
Impossible
Tom, don't
movie, but
listen.
half of his face is missing. He's like an android now.
No, I wouldn't want AI Jack, you know. I liked his character. I liked him a lot. And I thought I was surprised because I even thought like I wasn't sure, but I was pretty sure that he wasn't back in other Mission Impossible movies, So I was hoping he would, but I wasn't sure. So I was like thinking the whole time that if he died, he was gonna die. I thought he was gonna die like even earlier than he did. Survived a lot longer than I thought, and everything. But it was the second mission that they showed, or whatever. 'Cause the
Yeah,
first mission was the Russian guy,
yeah. Well, and there's other stuff in this too, like it's a good thing that the people that Tom Cruise is imitating look like Tom Cruise. Because like he
right?
has the mask on, like the general, and it just happens to kind of look like Tom Cruise. While in the other movies, um, that doesn't happen. If it's, and I'll make up something. If like George Clooney is in there and Tom Cruise has to look like George Clooney, they just make a mask that looks like George Clooney. And then he puts it on and you kind of see him do this, and then you see it's George Clooney. So
I don't want to see him do it. I like my favorite parts in the movie are when all of a sudden you're not sure if that's really him or that's the guy, a mask, like at the end with Phelps and the girl comes in and sees and she thinks it's Phelps and it turns out to be Ethan and he takes off the mask and you're like, oh no
that's
shit.
really the first time that it's another actor that he is supposed to be. But there's twice in the first movie where like at the beginning of the film, like the pre-credit sequence where they're trying to get the information from
Hmm.
that guy, and like the room kind of falls apart and we see that it's a set. He's playing somebody who just happens to kind of look like Tom Cruise. Then you have like that general guy at the party. He just happens to kind of look like Tom Cruise because then they don't have to do much with the makeup. They make him look a little bit different. And I do believe they do kind of that thing maybe in a couple other movies, but it is mostly like Philip Seymour Hoffman is in part three. So if they do a mask of him, it's him. It's the
I
actor
love
doing it.
Philip. I'm
So.
gonna be sad because rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Oh, he is. I'll say this about part three. He's still the best villain in this series. I think nobody can outdo Philip Seymour Hoffman in this. He
I
is great.
um So I kind of figured that John Voight was going to be a bad guy, you know? And I kind of figured because I think maybe I remembered a little bit of it, but I remember him coming back, you know? And so I was like, hmm. But I didn't want to say anything to my dad because my dad didn't remember anything. So, it'd be fresh to him. I didn't want to say anything, but the whole time I was thinking, I wonder if Jim is actually still alive and he's just pretending to be dead because he was number two on the list of the cast, when Tom Cruise, you know, they can't kill the person off halfway through, not even halfway through, like, the first act and not expect him to come back at some point. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, he's too big of a name.
Yeah.
And then when I rewatched it this time, is I watched him when he was at the beginning when he is talking to the team and he's explaining the knock list and all this type of stuff, is I kind of saw what he was doing in a different way. That it was like he's describing what he's going to be, that what he wants to steal. And it's kind of like when we find out, and when Ethan finds out that he's still alive, that Phelps is still here, and they're sitting at the table, and then he thinks it is, that it's somebody else, but he's in his mind he's seeing it as John Voight, and then he kind of puts two and two together, and it's like it's you. You're the guy doing it. So I kind of did that type of thing at the beginning when he's talking,
Hmm.
and it's like, okay, you could, if you watch this a second time or even a third time, you kind of get a different feel
Hmm.
for what that character is doing, and he's describing to you what he's going to steal, and take the money and everything.
So
So
this might be my second or third time. Like I'm not sure which time, but watching it now and had not seen it forever, since so long, it was nice, to watch it because it was sort of still, it almost felt new to me. It was almost felt like watching it again for the first time, or whatever. And so I was like, all right, I dig it. I dig the music by Danny Elfman, you know.
that bugs me a little bit, and I'm a massive Danny Elfman Oingo Boingo fan. There is which I do have, a rejected soundtrack by somebody else. I forget who it is, but that was in the time period still when Danny Elfman was doing Batman. Like every soundtrack sounded like Batman. It all ended with the symbols, like
Mm,
in Batman. And if you looked at something that he did like Black Beauty, it wouldn't sound anything like Batman. But then if he did an action movie, there was that Batman feel of like the Batmobile driving down the street, and you're just like, yeah, this sounds a lot like Batman. And even though I really do like the soundtrack, he's not, I don't think, the best choice to do it because he was a replacement. So, but it does have a good soundtrack. I do like the soundtrack to it.
yeah, I agree. Well, I mean, I don't know. I didn't notice the Batman thing, so I didn't pay attention to that. But I liked that Danny Elfman, Vanessa Redgrave. Oh, it was just like it was when I saw that she was in it, I was like, oh my God, I really hope she has a good role. Which I was pretty sure she would. But at that time, I wasn't sure how big Vanessa Redgrave was. If she was like a top tier actor at that time or just a smaller, you know, name actor. But she did really well. Max, I mean, that
Well,
was a fun character.
it's to give the film clout. You get these big, like, that's what I like about Fast and the Furious is Judi Dench met
Dame
Vin
Julie
Diesel.
Dench.
Dame Julie Dench met Vin Diesel at a party and said, I would love to be in the Fast and the Furious movies. And he's like, what? And she's in the Fast and Furious movies. She plays Jason Statham's mom. So you have these huge actresses that give movies, a lot of clout. And
Hmm.
she gives this film a lot of clout
Yeah,
because you got,
Vanessa.
yeah, and I think that Voight and Vanessa are on two different levels in
Hmm.
as far as acting goes. Like I like John Voight in this. I like John Voight in general in movies, but she elevates it,
Hmm.
and so which is probably why they got her to do it. And Cruise is such a huge movie fan that, as I'm sure, he probably had something to do with her being asked to be on this film. And some of the other casting in this is interesting. Like Ving Rhames is interesting because he becomes a staple. And
Yeah, he was great.
yeah, and it's watch him through this because I have I think by the last movie in real life he's actually ill because he does less, and it's in Benji. Simon Pegg takes over, kind of. Simon Pegg comes in part three. but it's Ving Rhames is really good in
He was
this.
ill though, but like, I mean, he's still
I
alive and
I
everything.
think he
So,
was ill. There was something I think with him where he couldn't move around as much. This is my thought. Because he plays a particular character in this that does hacking. They then bring in Benji, Simon Pegg, who is more of a computer nerd, but not really like a hacker. Then
hmm
all of a sudden they both become hackers. And then by the end of the whole series,
it's like
by
they're,
now Benji's completely taken over that, and Ving Rhames is kind of just sitting in a chair a
oh,
lot. And so I'm like, oh, I wonder if something is going on in his real life,
I hope
to
not.
where, that he still wanted to be in all these because he's in all of them, in one
God,
capacity or another. But yeah, I mean, I haven't heard anything since. That's just my theory.
my dad didn't recognize him at first. And I go, "Do you know who that is?" And he goes, "Who?" I was like, "That's Marcellus Wallace." And my dad looks at it and goes, "Oh my God, it is." And I was like, "Yep, that's
Phineas
Marcellus."
Fink.
Yeah, well, I think of him as Marcellus Wallace all the time. It's just his voice too. Like he can't change that voice. That voice is
Well,
iconic.
so you have in this, and you'll see this throughout the show or throughout the movies, that these are very diverse movies without being diverse, right? It's why did Tom Cruise get Ving Rhames? Because he's a good actor.
Hmm.
Why did he get Vanessa Redgrave? Because she's a good actor.
Why did he get Jean Reno? Because he's a good actor.
Because he's a good actor. So in all of these, you could see, oh, there's a black character, there's an Asian character. You get these different people in this without it being preachy, without it seeming like, oh, they only
But
brought
see,
this
that was
person
that was
in for
I feel like
this.
that was the 90s anyway. Like they would do that stuff because and because they weren't looking for diversity, at all. Like that wasn't the thing. Like um there wasn't people going, okay, we need to make sure that Mission Impossible #1 is very diverse. They were just like, let's get this person and this person and this
Yeah,
person, and if they're good, they're good. And if they, and what was Ving's Luther? Luther could have been a white guy. He could have been. His name sounds like it could be a white guy. They did not make him sound specific or anything like that. They, but Ving Rhames does such a great job with it. His voice is, fantastic for everything, and he just did a great job. He was perfect for this. And then, like I said, Jean Reno. Uh, my dad was like, I recognize that guy from somewhere. And I was like, I mean, I know him from like Leon and a bunch of other movies from
yeah.
that, thing. My dad, I don't know if he did notice him from something or other. I'm sure he did. But I knew him from that. I always remember him as the professional who's helping young Natalie Portman out and dealing with crazy ass Gary Oldman. You know, Gary Oldman would be great in a Mission Impossible movie as a villain. Um, maybe that's too already been there, done that kind of thing for
They
him.
don't really have huge people as the villains in this. It's interesting.
I
They're
mean, you said Philip Seymour Hoffman. A lot of people might not say he's huge, but to me, he's huge. He was a huge guy back then.
Yeah, and this,
'Cause-
yeah, we'll talk more about part three because, like I said,
and
that's a
John Voight.
very,
I mean, John Voight was a
I,
big name.
yeah, I think that also like Voight, was for older audiences,
Hmm.
like your dad, you
But
know,
also, yeah, and yeah, people have seen Midnight Cowboy and
yeah,
stuff.
and who, so it's like, oh, I can watch this for him. So the one of the things that I find interesting about this, and then they kind of redo it later, especially in Dead Reckoning, is the ending, is the train sequence. Because that train sequence is they in the behind the scenes they say it's a blue screen, and but in later in like Dead Reckoning, it's all on location. They're fighting on that train.
Nice.
And so I think Cruz wanted to redo it because he's like, no, we because they took the train and they put it sideways. So as they're going up it, and there's that like huge fan that's blowing down on them, and so that's why it looks kind of weird when they're crawling on it.
Hmm.
It's because it's supposed to look like, like the wind is hitting them and it's going at such a great speed, and the
You did a great
helicopters.
job with that because I love that. Like that was
Yeah,
one of my favorite scenes the whole movie.
yeah, that was done really well. And I still don't buy exactly the helicopter flying through flying through the tunnel. I was like, well, that helicopter might be a little big, but I don't know, maybe if it was one of those personal helicopters that could make it through there. But it's the the propeller, once it blows up and kills Renault and John Voight, and that the blade circles and just hits right on Cruise's, like an inch away from his neck. So
Mm.
that stuff is great. Yeah. And it's still a good scene, even if it is not done on location. If since it's all blue screen and big fans, and obviously the actors are doing that. They are flipping.
Hmm.
They're, even if it's on a wire, they're still doing all of it, and it's still, yeah, it looks really good for that time period. So I think it
The
still holds up.
other scene I really liked was when he realized Kittredge was like was like thinking he was
Oh
the
yeah,
guy or whatever.
because you
So like
survived.
you survived, and so he's like, and he does not go because he didn't do anything. So he wants to prove that he didn't that he didn't do this. Somebody else did him. Turned out to be John Voight the whole time. But so he goes and there's a couple other things I'm gonna point out in a second, but like he's at that place and he like hits was it the water tank or whatever, and it spills everybody out and
Yeah, with
gets
the
some.
exploding gum, because Emilio Estevez is apparently like Q.
Yeah,
He's
that's what I was thinking. Like this seemed like a James Bond thing. So anyway, pew, and then explodes and jumps, whatever out, and uh, he's that scene was pretty cool. But I was just thinking about it. My one of the problems I had was like, unless they're doing like, unless it's part of CIA stuff, the email thing looked so cool that it obviously was fake.
Well, and that's what Mr. Sunday Movies points out, is they're just like, look, this is not hold up,
Yeah,
compared to the
because
rest of the movie.
because I'm like, they don't even make email look that cool now. Like you
But
don't.
it but it's like they go to like Book of Job, and then he even types in like Max, .com, and he's typing in all this stuff, and it's like this is, see, it's funny as because Mr. Sunday Movies, they thought it looked dumb. You thought it looked cool, but it's something that is so out of date now, even if it
Mhm.
was like that. It's weird how,
Well, it's
I'm
technology.
well, yeah, so it's good that these aren't, because you always see these movies like from the 70s, like the sci-fi films,
Mhm.
Logan's Run or Soylent Green, whatever it
Blade
is.
Runner, where like you look at his ship or whatever his car that he has, and he has like all these like Mac computer stuff
Well,
and
and all of it
everything.
looks like, for Blade Runner, look like the 80s. For Logan's Run, it would look like the 70s. So they're walking around in the year 3000, and they have bell bottoms on. It's like, okay, so
It's
maybe
like
it
bell
came back
bottoms
in.
are never gonna go out of
Yeah,
style.
it's like, maybe, yeah, maybe they came back into style. So it's nice that the Mission Impossible movies are of their time.
Hmm.
So they're not hinting that this weird email, is from the future. It's
Right.
just, it could exist, it may not exist. It's one of those things. And oh, and,
It's
and with the fish tank, they tried it with a double, and it wouldn't work because you would see the double's face all the time. And that is the moment when Cruise said, I'm now doing my stunts. And that is him, the explosion, him jumping out, him jumping over the guy that falls. That is pure Tom Cruise. That is the Tom Cruise moment of, I'm going to do my own stunts. So, because that was like 100 gallons of water in there, and it was huge.
I
So,
I understand like that, but like I watched an episode of Entourage once that made me go, I'm never gonna do. serious stunts like that, where Vincent Chase is told by Nick Cassavetes, "Oh, you don't have to, but if you want to look like a pussy, blah 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 and stuff." And so he's like, "Oh, I can't look that bad in front." And even Ari's like, "Don't do it, don't do it," right? And he does this car stunt, and it looks great, right? And even Nick's in the video, in the car with him, right? And stuff. And they go and do it, but then he crashes, right? And that fucks up Vinny's head for the rest of the season. Like
Oh yeah, he becomes like the adrenaline junkie.
he becomes an adrenaline junkie. He starts dating a porn star. Like all these things that was
Sasha
not. Oh
Grey.
yeah,
Ooh.
that was one of the best seasons. I'm not gonna lie. Like some of the best seasons because that was really where they went to the nitty gritty of that show. But like, and I'm surprised. Well, I guess Tom Cruise is too big, maybe. But like, man, if they could have got him on that show, that would have been great. Because they got James Cameron on the show and everything.
But
Which,
even James Cameron on that show said he had stipulations. He's like, if
yeah,
I'm going to do this and I'm going to make Aquaman, it's a hit.
yeah, because they were
He
gonna
goes,
make it a bomb.
yeah, none of my movies have bombed. They're all hits. So that was his thing is that yeah, it couldn't bomb. It had to be a hit.
And it was a hit. But that changed the whole trajectory of the season then after that, because once it was a hit, then now he's on top of the world and he could do whatever he wants, right? And everything, which makes him eventually do Median, which is a bomb. So they decided to go with that that as the bomb,
Yeah, because he doesn't do Aquaman 2.
which happy about because they very much mirror Mark Wahlberg's life, where he had a hit and then he does it and then he has a bomb and then he doesn't care and he goes and does, other stuff. And Mark doesn't care anymore. He's got his Wahlburgers, which I saw on Hollywood Boulevard. Did not eat there, man. I don't know why we never ate there. Next, when I'm in town there on my birthday, I better go. I want to go eat at Wahlburgers you know.
I would eat there. Yeah, I would have
Check
to
it
see
out. I
maybe
mean,
one or
why
two.
not?
Well, here he probably has them in many places, but in Vegas he has his gym.
I did eat at Trejo's Tacos though. So I did eat
Oh,
at a
Danny
celebrity.
Trejo. Okay.
Yeah, and I got a little sticker because I was collecting bumper stickers there or whatever. So I got a bumper sticker for Trejo's Tacos, and it's on my car now. And I loved it. My dad had it for the first. He doesn't eat many like good tacos. He likes Taco Bell. Like he doesn't like he's not a taco connoisseur. So he said that was the best taco he's ever had. I was like, fuck yeah, Danny. Make the best taco people have ever had. I loved it. Um, and now
I'll
I
have to
want to
check it
eat at
out.
Wahlburgers, but I don't think my dad just had an interest in that. I don't know. We did see it though, and it was kind of cool. I think I took a picture of it and stuff, and it's just neat to be there. Like, this is why I miss living in Hollywood, is because like there were times where I was bored and I could go just see things, you know, and stuff. I never did that though. I never bought because I guess I didn't have enough money, but I never bought like a studio ticket to go to Paramount, or whatever. And I was actually kicking myself. I was like, why didn't I ever apply to be a tour guide? I mean, they train you what to say and everything. Like, I know a lot about movies. Why the fuck didn't
Because
I ever do it?
you live there. I lived in Northern California my most of my life, and I never walked the Golden Gate Bridge until I was about to move to LA. Because my
And
friends
you're like,
go,
oh man, I've never done that.
yeah, and my friends hadn't either, and they were born, they were born there. I wasn't. I was born in LA and came up, but we just went, we've never done this,
Mm-hmm.
and we've been here for 20 years. So let's go do it. So we finally went to do it. But I don't think that like me being in Vegas, I don't do a lot of the touristy things. Either I've done it or it just doesn't fully interest me. But then if I ever move from here, I'll probably be like, oh crap, I should have done that.
Yeah. Well,
It's
I mean, I
literally right there.
probably
Yeah.
should have been I mean, I could have been a tour guide at Paramount, I mean, or Warner Brothers. I like both of those, both of those places, those studios. But then again, I guess I probably would have thought to myself, I don't want to do that because I want to work there as a filmmaker. And I feel like if I work there as a tour guide, I'd never actually fully get up to this, uh,
You might. You never know. You
I
know.
I don't know what the plans for tour guides were because a lot of them were actually film students. That when they graduated film school, they got jobs there doing that, you
Yeah.
know,
Okay.
and stuff. That's actually a very smart way to do it.
Yeah,
Um,
you can meet people. So
right. It's a
yeah.
good paying job that, you get to learn about the studio and maybe you get to work your way up. I don't know. But it's really nice they knew everything. Like I said, I'm very proud of this. My dad got rid of his, but I like fucking
Oh
I
no,
want to
you
keep
got to
this.
keep that. Yeah, you got to display it. Got to hang that from a
Yeah.
wall.
It's hanging up on the wall. And it's both of these are and I will always forever like remember doing that. And I think Joe Turk might be because he's going to LA the next couple days and he said he's doing the Paramount tour or whatever. So good for him. I hope to see. Told him send me pictures, man, like what you see, because maybe he caught something I didn't, while I was riding around. It was, and when you do it too, send me pictures. Be very
Yeah,
proud when you see the Michael Bay way and everything
I want
and
that.
stuff.
I want to take a picture under that.
I think they would let you get out of the thing and take a picture by it. I just didn't ask because
You
Michael
don't
Bay,
understand.
because
You
but
don't
I know.
understand. I have to be under it.
I
It's
do remember the Warner Brothers guy was asking questions like trivia, movie trivia, and they were going by New Line Cinema, right? And they were like, "What is the movie that pretty much put New Line Cinema on the map?" Right?
and you're like,
And I raised my hand. I was like, "I know." And he was like, "You, sir." And I was like, nobody else did. Nobody knew. And I was like, "That's Nightmare on Elm Street."
Lord of the Rings. Oh
No.
crap. Why did I
Mm.
say that?
No, Nightmare on Elm Street. And they were like, yes, sir, that's correct. It was most notably known as, and I said it in myself by silently to myself, the house that Freddie built, you know? And it's funny because I know this without being a tour guide that gets told these things. So it's like if I did this tour, I would know a lot of information,
Well,
you know?
that's the problem is, these places, they don't hire people like us who know everything. I've watched documentaries and TV shows and listened to audio commentaries and where people just get shit wrong. And it's like, really? Really? What?
Mm-hmm.
Where they would go like, oh yeah, I just watched Alfred Hitchcock's Jaws last night. It's like, Jaws? Like, the guy made the birds. What are you talking about? And like nobody corrects anybody,
Well,
and it's just like,
yeah.
why aren't you correcting people? I guess if you're sitting there with Ridley Scott and he says that, you're not going to go, no, Ridley, it's really this. But
Well, I watched this. I listened to this one real quick. I'll let you go back. Sorry, but I listened to this one commentary track, and the two people there were like arguing, on the commentary track, and it was the most like I turned it off because I was like I can't listen to this. They're just like they don't like you. You could tell they don't like each other. That they were just kind of put into this thing and told because they're both historians or whatever. And so the guy would say blah blah blah, and then the girl would go, "No, that's not right. I think it was this blah blah blah." And then she was like, "Oh, you might be right, but I think it's the right, you know." And I'm like, "Oh my God, what am I listening to?" It's like just normal people talking. Like it's not
Well, and you
his.
can't use I think or I feel because those are emotions. You have to use facts.
Yeah.
So I mean I would not sit there and say, well, I think Jaws was originally meant to be in outer space. No, nobody's ever said that. So I think is irrelevant,
Yeah, yeah. If
So
you know, say it. If you don't know, don't say it. Um, the other one, and I won't say the guy's name or the movie that we were watching, but Paul and I did a movie for I think it was Film Freaks, and afterwards I was back at my old studio and I had to like do some rearranging of my DVDs and stuff for my collection that was there. And so while I was doing that, we put on the commentary for the movie we had just reviewed, right? And the guy there was so boring and so and he went off on tangents that had nothing to do with the movie we were watching. So he was talking about other things that had nothing to do with it. And, I saw this one actor that was in this movie, and this movie was really great. This movie had the blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, oh my God, you know, it's just like you telling us all the time, get back, was it,
Stay on target.
stay on target. We're off target on this episode too. So but we're not trying to be historically accurate. We're just trying to talk about
It
what our
kind of
views and our.
relates to, yeah, I mean, well, Paramount Pictures and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I mean, but
it
it
relates.
does relate to the movie,
Yeah.
but it doesn't, I mean,
No,
I
I
don't
know
even
what you're
care.
talking about. I've listened to commentaries where it's like either dead silent or it's just somebody talking about like the lunch they had or oh, I worked on this movie. Well, shouldn't you be talking about the movie you're watching? That's why I purchased this was to get your opinion. I'll say this and then we can get back to Mission Impossible because you're probably going to wrap this up soon.
Yeah,
It's the one of the fun the best audio commentary I've ever heard is Jim Wynorski and Fred Olen Ray for
nice.
Dinosaur Island is the greatest commentary I've ever heard because it
Is
was
that on
filmed.
Blu-ray?
I think it came out on Blu-ray. I'm not sure, but I saw it. It was on Laserdisc,
Oh
is
wow.
where I listened to it. And then one of the weirdest ones I've heard was Ridley Scott. I think no, it was for Hannibal. He did the audio commentary for Hannibal, and you can hear him lighting his cigar, puffing on it. You can hear him eating from the snacks that are there.
Oh yeah.
And it's just like, dude, what are you doing? And he'd be talking like this because he has the cigar in his mouth some of the time, or he'd be eating. And I'm just like, what is going on here? And it is kind of like it was like listening to like your grandfather tell you something, but he's like distracted by other things. But it was still funny because of how odd it was. So but I know later Cruise does do like especially with the later movies with Macquarie that they do audio commentaries.
Nice.
So
He did
yeah,
it for like Jerry's I almost said Jerry Springer. Jerry Maguire, completely different. It's
Jerry
Jerry.
Stiller.
Jerry Stiller Jerry. Oh my goodness.
He did it for Zoolander even though he wasn't in it.
Yeah, he was. But
Tom Cruise.
so but I also think he did it for Vanilla Sky and a few other movies. So
Yeah, I think
he's
he's gone back, and once stuff becomes available on like Blu-ray, he'll
yeah,
come back in there like the
he'll do it because he's one of those people I do love listening to him talk because he will give insight into his characters, into what, beautiful things. I need to get Jerry Maguire on Blu-ray or 4K. I don't think it's on 4K, but I need to get on Blu-ray at some point because we rewatched it. We did it for Hollywood Boulevard podcast, and I absolutely love that movie. And Tom is that is one of his most endearing performances I've ever seen him play, where I just actually just adore him as a person, and everything. And I mean, he was just wonderful. So, it was great to kind of see that. Plus, you know me, I'm a huge Cameron Scott, or not Cameron Scott. Oh, Cameron Scott. I am a fan of Cameron Scott, but I am a fan of Cameron Crowe, you know, and everything. I'm just getting everybody's name wrong right now. Just see, this is why I'm not doing a commentary track. I'd just be fucking
getting
people's
older,
names.
man. Well, it's interesting that the film that they would do together again would be Vanilla Sky, which is
Yeah.
like the complete opposite
Well,
of
I
Jerry
really
Maguire.
liked it, you
Oh,
know.
I think it's Tom Cruise's best movie. I love it. I absolutely love that film.
Oh, you love that more than, hold on. You love that more than this movie? Can you tell what that
Yes.
is? Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep. Yep. Yep.
Kubrick's
Yep.
last movie and star Tom Cruise.
Yeah, there's well, yeah, and Cruise does the the Remembering Stanley Kubrick documentary. He's
Oh
the
wow.
voice, and yeah, so he has a lot of respect for
Paul's
Kubrick.
favorite director. Um, Paul was known for a lot of crunching on the podcast and stuff. I always tell him, "Just don't do that. We can hear you crunch when you're eating your food and
Oh
everything."
no, eating food, which I'm surprised you let him do, is ne it should never be allowed
I
on the.
told him that. And he goes,
It's it's
I'm
it's
gonna do whatever I
gross
feel like
because
doing.
I mean, you're seeing inside the mouth, you're seeing all that. When I first was on OGP, it was Horror Movie Mondays, is I didn't know that was a no-no, and so I would be eating. I'd have like
Right.
chips or something, and I think it was maybe the second episode that I was on, and he's like, "Dude, don't eat." Don't eat. It's disgusting. It looks gross because people can see right inside your
Other
mouth.
people that said that, like, posted that, like, that's a pet peeve of some people's when they watch podcasts or videos, or podcasts, and they can just hear the crunch while the people are talking, and that turns people off. And
Yeah.
so I told Paul, I said, don't do that. And then Paul would look at me and go, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm doing this for fun, man. Just not, I don't want to, nobody's gonna tell me I can't eat my own food when I want to eat it. And I'm like, but you want more people to listen. You don't want to turn people away. And
Well, yeah,
so
and if you're talking and all of a sudden you're trying to do
now
something with food in your
I don't
mouth.
mind if you drink, or
Oh no, we got
whatever.
to drink as we talk, and our mouth gets dry, so you got to have
Yeah, like
something.
I understand. The funniest story with that, and then we'll wrap this up, is because this is completely off target. But yeah, stay on target. But I was interviewing, and I don't have this anymore. It's gone, and it really bums me out. But I interviewed the guy Robert Russler, who was in Freddy 2, like the was it Nightmare on Elm Street 2. He was in Thrashin'. He was in Weird Science, and I was a huge fan, such a huge fan that I actually like lost my voice while I was talking to him. Never done that. And I don't think it's even happened since, right? But I was with his manager, who's a friend of mine, who's the one who got me him. So I had both of them on the show, Sean Clark. And so I had Sean Clark on and Robert Russler. We're in a hotel and we're doing this live, right? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I like lose my voice. And and Sean could tell and kind of was like, go to the bathroom, get some water, right? But he's kind of like motioning to the bathroom so I could go do that. So, and he keeps interviewing Robert, right? He just asks all these questions while I'm in the bathroom. It was great though. I did get to say he was one of my favorite actors in Thrash, and fucking love that movie with Mr. Brolin, Mr. Josh Brolin before he was Thanos, you know.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
it's not a movie many people know of, and it kind of bumps me out because
Oh, I
my
know of it. Yeah.
my brother used to have it on Betamax, and so I'd watch it all the time on repeat
God,
because
how old are you? Betamax, what are you like 80?
yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like it. If it was the 80s that Betamax existed, yeah. Um, but
Yeah,
it
that
was
was
it
supposed
was
to dominate, and oh well.
yeah, yeah, and then VHS took over, and then that didn't dominate, and then that's the same thing with Blu-ray. Blu-ray was either Blu-ray or HD DVD. I'm glad they went with Blu-ray because HD DVD looks okay, I think, but
Yeah.
it's Blu-ray looks better. And then now it's 4K, and then soon it'll be where it just goes right into your brain. That's the next level that they gotta do, where it's just like they put something in
Like
your brain,
Batman Forever to kind of go back to that.
and then you literally have Batman Forever
Yeah, there you
in
go.
your
Yeah,
brain, stored
in your
in your
brain.
brain. So you can always go back to it if you're like, I want to see that movie again. And then all of a sudden,
I want to see Jim Carrey act like the Joker. So let's watch Batman Forever.
where he's the Riddler.
But he doesn't seem to realize that because that's not what the Riddler does. But
Uh,
that's a whole different video. I
yeah, I
do
think
want to
maybe he
give
was like
the
sad he never got to play the Joker. So,
yeah, I have a feeling he thought that he was somebody completely different.
hmm,
But I do want to give budget and what this film made because it will be relevant to part three.
okay, to part three, not part two.
Not part two, but to part three. It will lead up to that. So its budget was 80 million, and it made 457.5 million.
And that was like back in you know,
96, I believe.
96 days. So that was a lot of money back then. Imagine what that would be now. Like
Yeah, 96.
that would be
Yeah.
probably like 100 and something million, and then, for the budget, and then, almost $1 billion in today's standard, or
Yeah.
whatever.
So this film made a lot of money.
Yeah. So that's great. I
Yeah.
love
It's
that.
it's it's also interesting to part two. So
But I will do the one thing that our buddy Joe always does, and I've been doing it on our a couple of our shows or whatever. But I'm gonna look at what the box office was like for for Mission Impossible. So what was the big um I just want the first Mission Impossible. Okay. Um that's weird. I guess it just said it made 180 worldwide, which is not true. So I don't know if I like that one. I want Box Office Mojo then. Um, because if you looked it up and you saw 400,
that's Wiki, and I always go off of that. So it may be a little off, but it's there.
let's go. I just want to see what was playing in the box office at the same time. So I don't care about the actual budget and stuff. I want to see. Ah, where is it? I just had it. I'm gonna find it. Sorry, I just had it. So, um,
And while you're looking, if you actually look on Tom Cruise's posters, it's always a side profile. He has to be on the poster. It's a side profile except for maybe once or twice. And his name has to be on the poster, like pretty much with nobody else's. There are certain stipulations to posters even with him.
what was the exact date? I can look that up. That's gonna be easier to do. The release dates.
Um, oh, it's probably right here. May 22nd, 1996.
Okay, May 22nd. That's a May 22nd, 1996. Wow, that's the first thing that pops up. So, then box office. So let's see what other movies. Domestic box office for this time. Um, it's only showing me Mission Impossible. There's no way that that's the only. Okay, so something beat it the first opening day, by the way. It was Twister. It was number one in the box office.
Hmm.
Number two was Mission Impossible. Number three was Truth About Cats and Dogs.
Oh God.
I don't know why that was there. Number four was The Craft. So I can see that. Number five was The Quest with I think wasn't that Jean-Claude Van Damme? Yeah, it
Yeah.
was a Van Damme movie. Primal Fear was six. Number seven was Spy Hard. So it's kind of
Oh,
funny
Leslie
that Spy
Nielsen.
Hard
Yeah.
came out around Mission Impossible time. Um, if they had done a Spy Hard 2, they would have parodied this stuff, there, but I don't think they could have parodied a movie that hadn't even come out yet. Flipper was number eight. Number nine was The Birdcage. Number 10 was James and the Giant Peach. So,
Man, some real hits and misses for me.
um, number 11 was The Great White Hype. 12 is Mulholland Falls. So, number 13 was Sunset Park. This is really good because they're showing like some of these actually did, pretty good, pretty whatever. So, number 14 was Executive Decision. Isn't that, is that Steven Seagal?
Yeah, yeah, in his best role, actually, yeah, with Kurt Russell.
No, I have to disagree with you. His best role was Under Siege. That was my favorite. I don't know. That it might be
That's a good
different
movie.
than.
It's a good film.
Number 15 is The Last Dance. I'm gonna get only up to 20 because there's like a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. There's no point in going past 20.
Yeah. So number 16 is a thin line between love and hate. You ever
Martin
heard of that
Lawrence
movie?
movie. Yeah, Martin Lawrence. I
Okay.
think he directed it, and that was like the big deal with it is that he directed it.
It only grossed $5,751,566. So, and I don't think that was just
I think we played it like Cliff and I played it at one of the theaters that we worked at together. Like nobody showed up. It was
so.
like barely,
17 is Cole Comfort Farm. Don't know that one. That
oh,
only
that's
played in like six theaters.
which is
Uh,
Kate Beckinsale, I believe, like before she was Kate Beckinsale
Number 18 is The Pallbearer. Remember when David Schwimmer was a leading man for a little bit?
for
Not that
five
he
minutes.
doesn't
Yeah,
have the chops to do it. He's a good actor. It's just weird because like after The Pallbearer and he had done one other one, Kissing a Fool, written by Doug Ellen, like even directed by Doug Ellen. The guy did Entourage. Um, that's why he has like a cameo in Entourage. That was so kind of weird and random. Oh, what's David Schwimmer doing? You know. Number 19 is Fear, the Mark Wahlberg. Speaking of Mark Wahlberg movie. Um, and 20 is Heaven's Prisoners. I've never heard of that one.
oh, that's Alec Baldwin,
Alec Baldwin. Oh, that's
Terry Hatcher.
yeah. And somebody Lynch, Kelly Lynch,
Oh, Kelly Lynch. Yeah, she was a
Eric
thing
Eric
for a second.
Roberts. Wow, that's a big one. I never heard of it.
Not my favorite of the Roberts, but you
Not your favorite of the Robert?
know.
I like him. I met
Oh, I
him.
like him, but I like his daughter better. So
I've met him. Eric Roberts. Was it? And G. Larry Butler got to meet both him and not his daughter, but his sister, Julia. He got to work with
Julia Childs, that's awesome.
Julia Roberts.
Oh,
Not
Roberts,
so
yeah.
awesome, right? She seems sweet. I don't know. I would. Paul would, if I was like, hey, we got Julia Roberts for a movie, Paul would be like, I pass. I'm out. I'm like, no, you're not. You'd say that, but it's it's working with a big time actor, you know.
My name comes above hers, or I'm
Uh,
out.
all right. Well, I guess that about wraps it up. The Mission Impossible series, we'll be diving into all eight of them.
8 movies, yeah.
Yeah. And so that'll be fun. I'm excited to kind of do all of them and talk about them all. And there will be no extra thing, just 8 episodes and we're done the season. So, but this will be just once a month, the last Monday of every month, um, up to the episodes. So eight months of that. So hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you guys think, and we'll be back next month with a brand new episode. Thank you,
There
John,
we go. Thank
and
you.
everybody
Bye.
else. Have a good one.
You
Bye.